Well, I don't think there's a way to start these that I'll really enjoy, so I guess I'll just get right into it. I told myself this year I'd be a lot better about sharing, as in, I guess, sharing what I got going on in the shop, customer work, my car, whatever, kind of just whatever I got going on here. Um, I am terrible at it because I've got an aversion to it. Anybody who knows me knows that. I'm not crazy about it, but I have learned, and I do know you got to do things that sometimes you're uncomfortable with, for the better of, yourself, growth, shop, what have you. And so here we are. I figure this is a good as place to start as any. It's my car. It's kind of what I started everything with anyhow. Um, it's a car that I love. It's near and dear to my heart, of course. And with that, it's also the thing I have not been able to stop messing with. I guess if you ask most people, it's probably why I do most of this stuff. I love this car. I love working on it. I love developing it. I love tinkering on it. And this year, it's going to get a lot of that. Starting end of last year, so end of 23, it got set on this table and embarked on quite a journey. So in the last 12 months, I was able to drive it more than I had in any previous 12-month period. And with that, I learned a lot of stuff about it. I learned a lot as a driver, and then I also learned, which I should pause, I'm not a great driver. I'll be the first to say it. I'm no pro driver. I'm no wheel. I'm no, hot foot. But, you got to drive these things to learn, and that's my goal. So I learned a lot. I grew a little bit as a driver, but I learned a lot about the car, good and bad. I learned there's a lot of things it does really, really, really well. There's some things it does really okay. And then there's a couple things that I found in the last couple events that I don't like. And I am unable, for whatever reason, to leave those things alone. And that's what landed it here on the table. So with that, I guess I'll stop talking about it. I'll pull the cover off and we'll go walk around and see what's going on. Right. So, like I said, took a Sawzall the thing about 4 inches off the firewall, beveled and sleeve joints. I'm in the process of building a new chromoly front end for the thing. So a little bit tough. It's actually a little more challenging than if I was starting scratch because all the tubes are sticking out of the firewall and all that stuff. It kind of predetermined angles and trajectories. So, getting them to go where I want now is a little tricky. Trying to keep in mind headers and all that stuff. I'd really like to not have to rebuild them again. But along with that, while you're in there, as I was kind of mentioning before, I decided to lower the whole drivetrain. So whole engine, transmission, differential has all been lowered a little better than an inch. Not only help with CG, but also help up in the front. I'll rock back up there. Up in the front, it'll help with engine maintenance. So I got to run valves and springs in the thing quite a bit. So it'll help it'll help kind of give a little more room to get, arms in there, get the covers off, all that jazz. Second to that on the engine is I'm going to a little bit bigger throttle body, which constitutes a little bit bigger filter, which if I had left it where it was, would make visibility even worse. And to be honest, it was about at my limit. I didn't want to go up any higher, didn't want to, chop down the visibility anymore. So it just made sense. This is the time. I got to build motor mounts anyway, so thinking about maybe motor plate and mid plate, I'm not sure. But with that, kind of the time to do it, while you're in there. So I guess along with that, we got this little guy sitting over here in the firewall. Don't mind that bent clutch line. It's going to get it redone. But fortunately, a buddy of mine has a spare unit, so worked out a deal, putting ABS in the car. I'm far from the best driver, so I know there's a lot of people out there that rip with no ABS, and I mean, I can get some pretty decent braking G out of the thing, but getting there's not consistent, and when you go a little too much or you're trying to get that extra little bit, sometimes sometimes you lock up. And with that, Goodyear slicks, they're not cheap, and going through them, killing them before their time, via an oopsie on the brakes is a pretty expensive endeavor. So not only is this going to help with that, give me a little more consistency in braking, but then also safety. The thing mile an hour is pretty well. Getting slowed down from those speeds will get a little bit easier, a little more consistent, a little bit safer. So adding that should be a pretty big performance and safety gain overall. So pretty excited about that. On top of that, I guess you'll notice all the little dots, dot, all these little dots. So I was fortunate enough to have Matt from M26 Engineering come out, kind of scan all the essentials, all the vital bits, and he is helping me make some proper suspension mounts and pieces. I'm real excited about it. I really haven't been crazy about the tab, fabricated tabs that I had on here. It's kind of the best I could do at the time, but that time at this point was about 6 years ago. So I've grown a lot, car's grown a lot, and this kind of constitutes the time to put, a legit, proper mount and suspension arm and mount system on the thing. And so I reached out to Matt, and he's willing to do his thing and kind of design some stuff and machine some stuff for the car. So I'm real excited about that. Can't thank him enough for kind of being willing to work on this thing with me. So past that, I guess up here, used to have a passenger seat in the car originally when I built it. Upon driving it a bit, realized that was a very unrealistic thing to have. There's no way a passenger's sitting in here with the exhaust driving it under any kind of stress or strain or anger. It's just simply too hot. So battery is now going to sit here. It's going to live here along with the dry sump tank. It's going to live here. Battery used to be behind the seat. While I never have had a problem with the battery, should I ever just have a dead one, getting to it back there behind the seat meant pulling the seat, which is silly. So package it over here, easy to get to, easy to get cables to. Also doesn't weigh much. It's an anti-gravity 51R, I believe. Real light battery, but any weight back there doesn't need to be there because I sit there. So moving over here makes sense, along with the oil tank. Get some weight off the nose, even more weight off the nose. It's kind of the reason that this whole thing happened. One of the big reasons that this whole thing got chopped like it did and is getting rebuilt like it is when I built the car way back then, the car was built to be 53% on the rear, and it was. And it worked really well. Car drove great. I drove it. A couple buddies drove it. Kind of all the same consensus. Drove great. This year, early 23, rather, we were able to get quite a bit of weight out of the car. So, but in a front engine car, it's a lot easier to get weight out of the back. And at finals, it meant I was driving the car as a Laguna in finals. It was more like a 51% rear weight, with probably on my first flyer, second flyer, I was down at probably close to 50-50 once you get factor in burning off fuel and stuff like that. And the car didn't like it. Didn't drive great. Left a lot to be desired, which I attribute to the weight. A couple factors there, get into it another time, but there was a lot of excess going on up on the front. So this time around, more meaningful tube trajectories, a little bit less tube overall. Front of the car is real long. Doesn't need to have tube structure all the way up to the front. Repackage the cooling system, repackage oiling, all that stuff. Try and get weight central between the axles, and try to get it to. I'm actually shooting for 54% rear weight. I'd like to see that. Back here in the back, like I said, lowered the whole diff. About 1.25 inches. Ended up cutting off the brackets, the hangers up there, drew new ones that are a little bit longer, an extended set. Lowered the whole diff, built a new cradle, a lot simpler, a lot easier to use and move and get out of there, and also quite a bit lighter. And then also, chopped off the suspension tabs, like I was saying. So get some nice billet units on there. Give us a little bit more easier, give us some easier adjustment, a little bit more precise adjustment, a little quicker adjustment, as well as lose a little bit of weight and look a lot better. So all important things. So that's what's going on in the back. Car got quite a bit of carbon last year. Deck lid, spoiler, filler, doors, and a nose cone, as well as this carbon bumper that my buddy Will built. And then buddy Logan Palmer at Palmer Signs wrapped it chrome, so it looks correct still. And then, like I said, doors and nose cone. Let's see if I can get those painted this year. We'll see. It's going to be a time and money thing. So that's the gist of what I got going on this thing. I got a lot of parts to make, a lot of parts to buy, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things to build before it gets off this table. But I love this car and I love working on it. And that's really the reason I kind of do anything around here, is just so I can be able to do this. So next thing I got to do, I got to make some sort of motor mounts for it, get it mounted. Motor's just sitting in there at the moment, and then it comes out. It's actually, as you can see, doesn't have a timing set on it. So it hurt the belt at GTA Finals, ended the weekend short, but preliminary checks, Don came by, we kind of checked it out preliminary, and it looks like it didn't spin around out of time and bang stuff up, but it's going to come out, go to him, get a final health check, get a new timing set on it, retimed, and come back ready to rock. So gotta get that done. We'll see how quick any of that stuff happens. I'm spread thin for time, usually a one-man shop. So, and I got a couple cool things going on. I got Will's ISF here, some really cool plans for that thing. And then I got a C5 coming in, also a very cool car, going to be even cooler than it is currently, and both high-level time attack cars. And then I got a 65 Mustang that's been patiently waiting its turn up in the front, and that time has come for it. So going to get to work on that chassis car. Bunch of cool stuff, cool goodies, FR9 and some billet parts and all kinds of cool stuff. So got a lot going on, and I'm going to do my best to share as much of it as I can. Force myself to remember to do it, take the time to do it. So probably most likely be on the YouTubes, because I guess Instagram, I don't know if you can share stuff very long. And I've been talking and rambling for quite a while now. So probably be on the YouTubes, but I'll go ahead and share whatever it is that I'm doing across any of the platforms I have. But anyhow, I appreciate you sticking around this long if you have. And I guess that's it. So, all right. Bye.